right. Do we have? Yes, we do. Good. We should be streaming now. Hi, guys. Let me change the Tatas Tuesday live. Big announcement on backer incentives. All right. And we're going to tweet this link. There we go. Yay to the tweeters. All right. Yes, I know you're using the webcam OBS. Hey, Julian, how are you? Your first one in. You keen, are you? All right. Facebook, even though nobody on Facebook comes to watch these things. They're all poo heads. Can you hear me okay, Julian? Live stream finally starting late. That's me. There we go. Oh, it says the wrong title. Post. There we go. Hey, Helen. All right. Okay, we got a few people here. We're just going to start. Sorry, I was late. I was doing a wonderful podcast for Lady Bits. You will see it soon. I'm not going to say too much about it. I'll save the rollout, but it was awesome. It was an awesome experience. It just took a bit longer than usual. So that is why I'm late. I apologize. Hopefully some people will be able to jump in after work. Might be a bit late for the people in UK time. But that's what we're doing. I'll wait for the chat to build a bit, wait for a few more people to watch before I do the announcement. I'm very, very excited. I almost just went and announced it totally on my own yesterday. I'm so excited about this. But does anybody have any questions before that I want to address, that you want to address? I know some people always come in on Friday and don't get their questions answered, so they ask them again on Tuesday and vice versa on Friday. This is why I'm doing twice a week, because we do run out of time despite ourselves. But yeah, we're up to 14. Ideally, I'll get, these chats tend to get about 100 people, but I've never done it at this time before. So we shall see. We've done 11, 4, and 7 my time, and they've all worked out really well. Haven't done 5 o'clock yet. So, oh good, there's some people from the UK who are staying up. I'm glad. I mean, it is a Tuesday, but yeah, sorry, I keep looking sideways. I've got the chat up here. I should probably move it over, but I like to have chat and OBS. How long do you think we'll have to keep putting up with stuff like Cat Grant's speech last night? From Supergirl, you mean, Auron? Hey, we like the questions. We like the questions. Auron knows how it works here. Auron knows we are very lean in to the point that I fall over. I am well endowed. You do come here, just bam, questions. That's what I want. Because otherwise I sit here waiting for questions, because these live things are done based on your questions. Yeah, so Supergirl. Auron's referring to the, I don't know if it was a season finale, I think it was a season finale, where Callista Flockhart's character, Cat Grant, came back, and they sort of done the whole, she did her big speech on women's and all that stuff. I thought it was cute. There was another element of Supergirl that I thought was more interesting from a female inclusion perspective, and that was the fact that they actually did the Krogan jar behave. Krogan asks, how long until we get to the fart jokes? Yeah, it might not be very long. We'll see. Yeah, the Trump references were quite heavy-handed. They've been that way all season. What I found more interesting was they did that traditional get married or else storyline, which is usually seen as a big feminist no-no, but they kind of turned it on its ear, making was her name Terry Hatcher, the former Lois Lane from Lois and Clark. They made her uh um, the one forcing the marriage, which I thought was an interesting flip around. Um, and yeah, I got the sense that that was a bit of a swan song for Callista Flockhart's character, and I thought they wanted a big kind of, unless she's coming back. I mean, the whole thing with that is they moved to Vancouver for production, and she didn't want to move to Vancouver. Um, she likes her LA lifestyle, and so they wrote her out, and I guess they brought her back for the finale, and that's it. Um, but yeah, the obvious references to Trump popping up on every TV show I watch are not my favorite thing. I'd like them to go back to telling their story, and not continuing to push their liberal bona fides every chance they get. I just don't think that's good storytelling. I know with me, I try to always look for what's the next trend in what we should be thinking about, because by the time you sort of create something and push it, it's already kind of stale. And uh, the the stuff I think that's going on shows like Madam Secretary and Designated Survivor are more nuanced. I think Designated Survivor really had to retool. They went away for a really long time and came back with the later half season, and it's a little difficult. But yeah, Aaron's right when he talks about the "Where Women Were Better" speech that Callista Flockhart's character gave. Um, Thank you, Patches, by the way. Patches like my Dead or Alive Extreme 3 review. But um, the I think we have this feminist work conundrum where we get into where it's character voice instead of uh, what the show is saying. There's the classic example that we learned in school was the phrase, "A woman needs a man like a fish needs a bicycle," and that was said in a fictional story by a character that was deliberately militant and man hating. And because the press is so accurate, it became the author said it instead of the character. And the author spent a lot of years going, no, 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 I do not mean this. This was something the character said, and there are counterpoints in the story. This was not me saying it. Don't credit me. And I think that's similar to the whole "where women were better." I admit I did kind of cringe. The thing about that whole monologue, and for people who didn't see the show, it's kind of cool. It was like Linda Carter and Terry Hatcher and Callista Flockhart all in the same scene. And so it's like, whoa, it's like Wonder Woman talking to Lois Lane, and then Ally Beale, who I like on the whoa, you know, and that made me happy. And then you'll notice at the end, she says, "Oh, women, we're better. So let's just stop fighting and big dicking and just get down to negotiation." And of course, Wonder Woman and Lois Lane go, "Nah," and they go back to fighting. That I think really contextualized that whole speech, because it was kind of an eye roller, which I thought was cool. The nice thing about Supergirl, and I know people really rip on it for various reasons, but I think they just have enough female characters who have to do something on that show that they get a difference of opinion. And that I like about it. It was significantly improved season 2 from season 1. Season 1 I kind of hate watched, not gonna lie. Drove me crazy because it had a lot of those. And it's funny because Cat Grant, that character, was the one that I kind of the she was the one that kind of gave the show some teeth when everybody else is doing this weepy, I don't know how I'm going to go on. My life is a little bit hard, even though I have superpowers and can fly and punch stuff. Cat Grant was a sort of suck it up, buttercup character, and I really liked her. And it shows how much the show has evolved since season 1 that she gets the eye rolling lines now. Hello, people who are just coming in. Welcome. And it's true. I'm going to avoid or on your next comment because some people may not have seen it, and that's kind of a big spoiler. But okay, we can talk about that. Stop it. Sorry. One thing I hate about Windows 10 is I don't know if you guys can hear it. Are you guys hearing that doo-doo-doo-doo when stuff comes in, or have I effectively killed that so that you don't hear it? But one person, Patches in the chat, said, I think the most interesting thing you said lately was the fact the press is not interested in interviewing successful women in gaming. Women treated poorly by gamers is the only story they want. And I want to be clear, some press, not all. There has been some coverage. Okay, awesome. You don't hear it. Good. I've configured properly. Because that annoys me. But some people, I mean, Eric Kane did a thing on his YouTube channel. The One Angry Gamer did a piece, and the Gaming Ground website did an extensive written interview. And the Gaming Ground and One Angry Gamer did do the larger cultural thing, and they were somewhat critical, and that's cool. I am glad for that. So I don't want to say all media. I want to give the people credit. Some podcasters have done something. I just recorded a thing with Lauren Carter today, which will be up. That was a thing I was all excited for because it was just like, we are of the same mind. Yay. She's amazing. And I'm doing a thing tomorrow with Toronto Mike. I'm doing the Geek Heart show on Friday. So it's just the usual suspects that there's been a lot of excuses granted to why they're not covering it now. The big one is we don't cover Kickstarters as a rule, except when it's an exception. And I've tried to make the point that if you want to be part of the focus groups, if you want to be part of the really cool interactive component of that show, your readers need to know about this now. When the first episode airs, it's too late. But they didn't take my pitch. C'est la vie. They have the right. But it's been very interesting. But Patch's follow-up question, and Terex, I have heard you. I'm just staying on one thought. I have issues with that. But Patch's follow-up question was, we want to hear more about successful women in gaming. What can we do? Well, this is one of these things I'm going to try to do with Lady Bits. We are in the process of circulating surveys to professional boards. So women working in games. And one of the questions on the questionnaire, and they just started to come in this afternoon. But one of the questions is, are you willing to be interviewed via Skype for, as a follow-up? And some of them are saying yes. So this is really awesome. I'm very happy about this. Anonymity is an option I am offering to get the stories. By the way, what are the plans for Patreon supporter access to Lady Bits? Good question. And that will give you a minute. Have to finish answering Patch's question first. Right. So hopefully one of the things that Lady Bits will do is introduce gamers who care to women working in the industry now you may have not heard about. And this is totally their choice, right? But I want those stories. I want to include those stories. So that's one thing. Otherwise, yeah, I only know what I can do. I'm working really hard. I try to fly the flag as often as I can. It's a good question because there is no simple answer. So thanks, Patches. Taryn asked me about Pirates of the Caribbean. I'm going to answer Krogatar's question about patron support access to Lady Bits. Patron support access to Lady Bits is basically going to be the original early bird backer tier. Basically, focus group access, because you guys are already focus group access. You helped develop the project before the Kickstarter launched. So that would be kind of silly to not give you guys that, especially since, you know, ongoing support is it ends up being a lot more than that backed project. So that's basically what's going to happen. In terms of the incentives, maybe this is a good time to hold that and wait until I announce and talk about how the donors are going to tweak. And thank you, Patches. I'm glad you were happy with that response. Moving on to Tarex's. So yeah, patrons will get access to the focus group, of course, because you are our financial promoters. The other stuff, the things that don't have shipping charges, typically anything shipping charges, patrons will get. And good point. I should send out a thing so you guys know. Thank you for reminding me of that. The Patreons have been very understanding. They're getting short shrift because things have been so crazy busy. So I'm trying to get back on the horse today, getting the second part of the university lecture that I am overdue on from Thursday for you guys. But yeah, so I'll put something out when that goes out. So Terex asked me about what I think of the Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Men Tell No Tales film. I am going to wait for the reviews on that one because I have no need to see another Pirates of the Caribbean film. I'd rather play Sid Meier's Pirates or Black Flag. But if it's really great, if the reviews are amazing and it seems really funny and action-driven and cool, then we'll go see it, because it's that summer movie period where, oh my God, every other week there's a new movie out. I thought Guardians of the Galaxy 2 was fantastic. Really awesome. Thank you, Helen. Helen is praising the first half of the university lecture. But yeah, that's sort of my thought on the Pirates of the Caribbean movie. I kind of think there's no more to say in that franchise, but I was wrong about Harry Potter. I thought Fantastic Beasts was... isn't that interesting that Oron says there's been almost no marketing for the Pirates of the Caribbean movie? I've seen a ton of TV ads up here. So there's that. Helen asks, how hard was the lecture to prepare? Could more lecture format videos be a part of your YouTube future? I will always keep those behind closed doors, just because I did put one of those up back in the day and they tend to get trolled. The problem with doing academic lectures on YouTube is it's not the audience. If people watch YouTube for entertainment. And so you have to use this dry, boring, feminist frequency style language on... Hello, Midna. Midna just walked under my chair. But you have to use this academic speak. It's about as interesting as watching paint dry, and I try to make it as appealing as I possibly can to the audience, but like to the lecture hall. But school is school and entertainment is entertainment, and there is a Patreon tier where if I start making enough money on Patreon, I will start doing Patreon exclusive videos of that sort. Because there are other more academic lectures I want to do. And hey, if Lady Bits takes off, then maybe that's a whole speaking gig thing for some of the concepts in Lady Bits. I mean, that's obviously it's not, I'm trying to develop a platform with Lady Bits, not just a show. One person said, what, that lecture wasn't freak-like at all. Freak language seems unintentional, more complicated than necessary. there is still a level of, I guess maybe I'm just gun shy about it, because I did a talk back in the day about romantic literary and artistic traditions, and uh, what that means for modern gaming in terms of exploration of social issues. And it went way over the YouTube audience's head. All people were into was like, "You hate this game," or "How can you like this game?" And that wasn't it at all. It was an examination of how romantic literary and artistic tradition is used in video games, and sometimes games try to use rationalist or realist at the same time as a romantic art style, and it doesn't work. That's what it was about, but people weren't recognizing that. I wasn't saying the game was bad or the game was good. I'm saying they tried to do two things at once and ended up with a jumble in terms of and so I am careful to, I take that as my mistake, putting it online with no caveats, no explanations as to what it is. It made me a better lecturer to take that hit, because I didn't preface it enough. It was for a specific audience, and live and learn. But people were very upset, and I don't want to upset anybody. I don't think that's real great. So yeah, that's sort of my story. But obviously, I'm never going to say never. Who knows if Lady Bits does what I hope it does and makes people more relaxed in terms of talking about this stuff, then we can go back to doing that stuff again. I think that the priority for me right now is just showing that a greater diversity of voices on this issue and others is actually good for gaming instead of something we should be afraid of. So never say never. I hate giving non-answers, but sometimes that's the best answer I can give. I hope that makes sense. Somebody else asked, will I be interviewing female developers in the industry, and will I ask any advice they can give for other women who want to enter? That is a goal. Obviously, there are some barriers in that job security is first. So what we're doing, this is what we talked about before people arrived. And yeah, there were only like 7 people in the chat at this point, so fair enough to repeat. Surveys have gone out to boards for female game developers, and I just started getting some responses back, and they are pretty awesome. I wanted them to be able to speak freely, and so I offered anonymity, and the answers are really, really interesting. I think you guys are going to be happy, because these are the real stories of, and obviously I verify identity. That anonymous to the public does not mean anonymous to the journalist. We all know that, right? You have to verify your source. But yeah, I think you guys will be happy at the sheer diversity of opinion that somebody asked, Julian asked, what's my opinion of Darksiders 3 based on what's released so far? I have no opinion on Darksiders 3 based on what's released so far. There's so much like freaking out over nonsense that I reset my brain. Helen, maybe we should talk about your channel, because I personally love history lectures, so maybe we can produce that stuff, because my interest is very piqued, because I like the like Senior Zorro says, they like academic speak. I like that stuff. The books I read are mostly nonfiction nowadays, because I get my fiction through games. I read dry, boring textbook style stuff, so I'm with you. But then I take that and make it fun. So I like eat all the boring and make it come out with like girls in bikinis, cabbages, and farts. And if you don't know what that's a reference for, go back and watch the last live stream, because that's what happened. It's let's see. Do I think PC gets more DLC and mods than people play on consoles? There is definitely a greater mod community on PC, for obvious reasons. DLC, not sure about that. My gut says no. I think it's pretty equal to console, because the number of people who play on consoles is so much greater. But I don't want to say that because I don't know. Do I have anyone in mind that I want to interview? Yes, but I am deliberately, there are already some people who have said yes. Some developers, some voice actors. The thing is, some subreddits, not Kotaku in action, but some other subreddits have been profoundly nasty about this project, and I don't want the people who are participating to get harassed before the project is even out. And the thing about Kotaku in action, that, you know, despite its reputation, I have a dialogue with one of the moderators on that board. A patron was cool enough to kind of set that up, and so if something goes on there, I can say, hey, can you, like, please, like, go at me, fine, but other people, can ya have mercy? And sometimes they say yes, and sometimes they say no. They see reason, or they don't. But at least I have kind of that dialogue. Other boards I don't. And I want this to be a positive experience for people. There's no point in people drawing more aggro, attracting more negativity. So, yes, I do have a wish list. But we need some things to be a surprise. I'll take a few more questions, but we're over the 50 threshold. So I'll make the big announcement pretty soon. I'm very excited. I lost the chat. Sorry. Here we go. What's my take on male gamers playing female avatars in games? Do women play male ones out of choice now? I play male avatars in some games. I tend to play, back when I played a Dragon Age game more than one playthrough, I'd play as a woman, and then I go through and play as a man, or vice versa, whatever I was kind of feeling at the time. When I played World of Warcraft, I was a male Tauren shaman. Sometimes I want to play as a dude. Like, I want to play as a dude with, like, crazy hair and, like, butt ugly and scars all over the place. Age of Conan, obviously played as a dude. This is why I use gender performativity theory for games instead of things like gaze theory, male gaze, because there is that element of you're picking a female avatar or you're picking a male avatar for the experience of performing male or performing female. And I think that is important. I think that people should have the ability to perform gender typically. I mean, I love the Saints Row games because all the clothing fits on both the male and female characters, and character voices are not locked to gender. So you could have a female character wearing boxer shorts and, a fedora who sounds like Nolan North. And I love that game for that, for giving you that character creation freedom. Too often in games, when you select a gender, it locks off your voice options. I wish it wouldn't do that. But, I'm sure there are reasons. It's probably a pronoun thing or something like that. But it's, I think it's, for some people, like, for instance, the Mass Effect games, a lot of guys played as femshep because Jennifer Hale's voice acting is just so good. And so there's other considerations beyond I want to play as a man, I want to play as a woman. I find I tend to just, if there is an avatar selection, I pick the character I think is going to look the most interesting. I mean, Mass Effect Andromeda, I had to decide who I wanted to punch in the face less between those two default avatars, because I was playing it for research purposes, not just for enjoyment. I would have gone through and farted around with the customization, but I wanted to see how much of a horror show those character builds were, and so it wasn't the choice of, do I want to play as male or do I want to play as female? Do I want to play as this guy or do I want to play as that girl? It's interesting because in Fallout games, I tend to play as female, and Elder Scrolls games, I tend to play as male. I play as a male Khajiit. So it really depends on the game. I hope that kind of answered. I talked more about my experience than my take on male gamers playing female avatars, because do what you want. It's a game. Games are about choice. They wouldn't put the choice in if they were going to say, okay, I'm going to put this in, but don't take it. Don't take that choice. So, yeah. Am I a fan of the Tekken game franchise? I get to see the roster of female characters in this series. I used to play Tekken. King was my main in Tekken until I got into Soul Calibur. And then I became just all about Soul Calibur. My two fighting games right now that I play, every single one that came out, although I shouldn't say that I didn't play the last Soul Calibur game, but Mortal Kombat and Soul Calibur are my two main fighting games. I tend to get freaked out, and this is not a criticism of the game. This is just the way I like to play fighting games. I like to play through campaign on fighting games and sample everybody's story. I love those silly stories at the end, and I like seeing the different character movesets. In these games with all the downloadable characters and everything like that, like the way Killer Instinct did, and I could be completely wrong, but I understand that the latest Street Fighter did. I'm not going to buy the extra characters, and I'm not going to do anything that. So I kind of feel like I'm missing out. Like, I got really, really sad every time I saw that grayed out Goro in the bottom corner because I didn't buy the extra, like, pre-order or whatever. But I wasn't going to pay more money for a base game. I miss the old days where you unlocked characters by being awesome. And I miss that. I like that in Mortal Kombat 10 or X or whatever it's called, that you could unlock things via DLC, but you could also unlock things through skill. Now then, there's, of course, characters you have to pay for and stuff like that. But I liked that choice. You could pay to speed up, or you could just earn your freaking tokens. I'm fine with that. But yeah, this is where my old, as people call it, my walk both ways uphill to school character. In my day, we didn't pay extra for this downloadable content. We got a game, and it was the complete game. And all the characters were already in the game. And if they wanted to give us more game, they called that a sequel. That's how I kind of feel about it. And that is just completely my opinion. There's no right or wrong to it. Other people can have very different opinions. I sampled on King of Fighters as well. Darkstalkers I played on the PSP, but those are the two franchises. There's no real reason. Those are just the ones that caught me. I'm just going through comments. I'm just gonna jump to the end. Sorry, guys, I missed a bunch, and I this is dead air, and I hate dead air. Too many years working in radio. Do I name my male Khajiits Momo? I probably would now. Binky gets the game name in anything really violent. Loki gets it sometimes. My Gardenscapes character that I play on my iPad to put myself to sleep at night is named Momo, because I love the little butler going, "Hello, Momo," and I love this stuff. So yeah, I do. My last Saints Row character name was Momo. I looked like Nicki Minaj, and then used the cat backpack, and I customized the cat backpack to be black and white, so it was Momo. I was very proud of myself with that. Um, um, oh, they're talking about romances in Dragon Age. Do you know why there are so few space opera sci-fi games like Mass Effect or Knights of the Old Republic? I would have thought the crossover between gamers and sci-fi fans would be near total. Define space opera. I mean, the thing is, there have been Star Wars licensed games. You got to remember that those action RPG games were considered dead. I would consider a Halo space opera. I would classify it in that genre. Gears of War, to an extent, is a space opera. They're just shooters. And so, accordingly, they're not seen the same way. There isn't the same sort of player choice that, you know, Mass Effect and the Knights of the Old Republic have. But they are, I mean, Halo is heavily inspired by Star Wars, which is space opera. So I think there are more than people may think. The thing is, post-apocalyptic settings tend to be so popular because the graphics could not do pretty as easily as it could do ugly. So they were like, let's make it look really dirty to get over our graphics limitations. And I think that might be it. But I would definitely treat Halo as space opera. Hey, someone in the chat agrees with the thing I'm saying. So that's actually not Momo crying there. That's Binky going, somebody play with me. It's too quiet here. So let's talk about the announcements, because I'm very excited, and that's why you guys are here. So the one announcement is we are working on a coloring book based on, I haven't added this yet. We are trying to get it together. We'll see if it's feasible. As something of a joke, it's going to be the various Lady Bits characters. And we thought that was funny. But the big announcement today is that some of you may know the comic book artist Frank Cho of Liberty Meadows, Marvel Comics, and Wonder Woman covers fame. Frank's a friend, and so it took a while to get a hold of him because he's busy with conventions. But Frank's going to do an exclusive print that is only going to be available to Lady Bits backers. I'm going to create a new $50 tier for this print, because that's, you charge a lot more for that. That's about what a convention sketch is. And so it's going to be it's going to be about what you'd expect coming from me and Frank. It may be Beelzebub. It may be a parody of some other kind. It depends what he's feeling, but he's agreed to, and yeah, because this is new, existing backers, we will do the obviously the $135 tier will get everything new, but because these things have added on subsequently, yes, if people want the sketches and you've already pledged, then yes, you will have the option. Some people may not want it, but it is going to be a limited series. Like, nobody's going to be missed out. But I am going to, no matter how much we print, but it is going to be numbered. So you're going to have your own sort of unique number for it. And I'm very excited about this. Yes, it will likely be sexy. I mean, Frank is known for two things, sexy girls and comedy. And I thought it was perfect. The only thing you got to watch is if you already have that $50 early bird tier, don't give that up because then you lose your focus group. So yeah, that $50 early bird tier, everybody else will kick in at the $75 level. But that existing early bird tier, yes, you're okay because that is early bird. The reason that was there is to get people to plunk money down, and it sold out really fast. And so the somebody asked, will Beelzebub have a female companion? I actually bought a little devil costume for Momo and I lost it. I can't find Momo's devil costume. I will find it eventually, and it's really cute. But it got cleaned out of oblivion during Passover. I can't find Momo's devil costume. He's so cute because he's so round. But yeah, we've pretty much said, Frank, do what you want. You're amazing. So whatever it ends up being, it's going to be. I had an original idea that was actually even cheekier, but we'll see what he comes up with. I know it's going to be great, no matter what. Frank is one of those guys who he is so awesome. First of all, for his friends. Second of all, anything charity, anything like that. He's always been so great. He usually says yes, and he's so busy, but he still makes time. Sorry. Someone says, how many of the 7 sins does Momo embody? Not all are obvious. Well, sloth is pretty much there. Gluttony is obviously kind of there. He's not, he doesn't have the avarice, the greed. That's not Momo. He's probably only the 2. I'm probably a lot of them. I'm probably more of them than Momo. But yeah, that is the announcement. The Frank Cho print that we are going to add the new $50 backer level. And the nice thing about the 75 backer level is that once we hit that, you guys are already getting a box anyway. So it's easy to put, a print in a cardboard sleeve in something. It doesn't cost any more postage. It's the cost of shipping things is often more expensive than producing things. So that was a real challenge in the incentive tiers, but prints are light. So, and as long as it's like an 8x10, it can be slid into one of those photo things, and those are relatively inexpensive to ship. And I know he's going to knock it out of the park. He's just an astounding cover artist. And I think this is a perfect element of the project, because it just it's so what this program is about, right? Like I agree with what is it? Is that Sweeter 15? Is that how it's pronounced? Sweetra 15. That I never understood the outrage Frank Cho's name causes because his art style is a modernized version of Frank Frazetta's art. I have a really personal relationship, especially with Liberty Meadows, because I didn't know Frank back in the day when I was down in LA, and it was Meltdown Comics that they had one of the Liberty Meadows compilations back when it was a comic strip, and it had this cover of this woman, and I'm like, oh, she kind of looks like me with dark hair and all these little animals, and of course I'm like, animals, right there, crazy animals, I'm there. And I was so drawn to the fact that Brandy, the female character, wasn't this perfect, um, iconic, unknowable object of the main guy who's a vet. I mean, the animals really steal the show on this, but I think the guy's name was Frank, actually, the vet guy. But she wasn't she wasn't without flaws. She was goofy and she was klutzy, and there was always this ongoing thing that she was insecure about her weight, and she was very humanized. And she kind of had a way with these cute little crazy animals. Because the thing about Liberty Meadows is it was kind of a psychiatric hospital for animals. They were all dysfunctional in some way. And then there was the dean, who was a pig, and he was the embodiment of a misogynist pig. And the run-on joke with Dean is Dean would be sitting at the bar, and there'd be a woman here, and Dean would say some horrible pickup line, and then the woman would punch him in the face. This was the thing. And it is so strange that was my introduction to Frank Cho. And then his Marvel stuff was so majestic. I mean, he draws everybody really well. He draws monkeys badass, and gorillas, and me. That's really important. His Ms. Marvel covers were incredible. And then his Wonder Woman covers. I mean, I don't think he got enough credit for the and yeah, Patches said in the chat, love Dean getting punched in his face, looked like a collapsed beanbag. Maybe I'll dig up my one of my Liberty Meadows compendiums, show you guys Liberty Meadows next time, because big sexist, misogynist artists drew a book about a lady and a bunch of critters. And Brandy had this roommate, Jen, who was a very different type of woman. She was a little bit kind of evil. She was definitely the bad girl to Brandy's good girl, but Jen wasn't all bad. Jen sort of had a spine where Brandy didn't. And it was a good comic. It was good. It was cute. It was funny, gorgeously drawn. And then, I mean, his Wonder Woman covers, people just didn't appreciate, because of the whole uproar, what he was doing artistically with those. I mean, he was reproducing Baroque art styles and so if they seem a bit posed, that was the reference. And I am a big supporter of Frank's stuff, and so yeah, I'm really excited that and it obviously sends a real message about the tone of my approach to feminist analysis. Hello, Lotador, welcome, first time. How long after the stream will the new backers content go up? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get off this stream and then start updating it. I will put the tier up right away. That will be fairly fast. The redoing that graphic of all the different incentives will take more time, but it will be up there for you to back and bid. Maybe I can even bid what back. Yeah, maybe I can even put it up right now so you guys can do it while we're talking. So I can give you guys directly the link, and then you can just go right there. No waiting, make it quick and easy for you. Because yeah, I did want to have something that was kind of unveiled. Oh no, my keyboard won't sync. What's going on with you, keyboard? Why do you suck? This is weird. Never had a blue dot before. But yeah, I did want to have something in the backstretch to this is weird. Did I accidentally flip the button? Oh, I did. Oh, bad Bluetooth. Okay, no, we don't want the yucky Bluetooth. We want the 2.4. We want the green button, not the blue button. There we are. That's why it wouldn't work. I was looking for a fob that wasn't there. My computer temporarily had the wrong fob identity. There we go. So good point, Emily. Thank you for pointing that out. For Peace Harmony, just jumping on, the Kickstarter is Lady Bits. I will have a link coming up to you guys as soon as I edit the tier. Of course, it's asking me to verify my password because security is important. All right, rewards. And just so you guys know, once the Kickstarter closes in 2 weeks, we are going to go right into the focus groups, getting a time, making all that work for the big powwow on the first episode, on the Lara Croft episode. So we are going to do that brainstorming session right out of the gate very quickly. There will not be a big turnaround because I need to get your guys' ideas so I can process them. And if you miss that one, don't worry. We are going to do a separate focus group for each episode. And one of the things the survey will do is find out which episode you're most interested in contributing to, and then what time is most convenient for you. So we will try to match as much as possible people's preferences in that regard. Yeah, so I am just going to give me a second. Title. What should we call this incentive? Does anybody have a any idea what we should call? Monkey Boy? Monkey Girls. Monkey Girls. Monkey Girls. What? What do I call the others? Wow, it's been a while. I just call it Monkey Girls. Pledge. 50. Okay. Description. To finish off the Monkey Girl Banana Boys? Will that get me in trouble? What do you guys think? What about Liberty Meadows for women? Keep giving ideas to hello 3D Man. Let's finish off the Kickstarter campaign in a big way. I'm adding a tier for people who haven't backed yet. You will get all of the Monkey Girls Banana Boys. Monkey Beings, the secret. Emily, don't worry about it. It'll be automatically added to the early bird backer tier. I can't go in and edit the Kickstarter stuff. But that early bird, the early bird and the $75 tier and the $135 tier will all get this. I guess I can throw it into the 100 too. I'll look at that. But yeah, I don't want anybody to give up their access for the print. You shouldn't have to pick. So yeah, this is just because Chobits. Oh, that's funny. I like that. It's an anime. Curtis, I thought I did respond your YouTube message, right? Or am I confusing it with someone else? I'll check all of the standard $50. Whoop! $50 reward goodies plus limited edition print by comic book artist, Frank Cho. Yeah, Chobits is pretty great. People are still brainstorming in the chat for people watching this later. People are still brainstorming, but Chobits is pretty clever. Just you guys know what Chobits are, right? Like what the anime is. I thought that was quite clever. It makes a lot of sense. Um, note backers at the $50 early bird tier will also get this incentive by default as what did I say? Oh wow, this as well. All higher tiered pledges so as not to penalize people for backing early. All right, add an item. Ugh, I always mess up the order, and I'm so OCD about this stuff. I want it exactly the same. Okay. Backers, add Forky download, add blooper reel. Name on set, physical DVD. Well, there already is a ship out. Oh, sweet, yeah. Add physical DVD, add name on set, add an item, new item, limited edition. Oh, and the other thing that's going to be cool is I'm going to put the original of the print, if I can, on the set. You know, that art stuff. So it'll be in it'll be on the set as well. So you guys can have like the home game. Cho print. I should say limited edition numbered. Save. Estimated delivery September 2014. Shipping details. Ships anywhere in the world. Photo mailer Canada. This is the most annoying part of running a Kickstarter, by the way. Anybody who wants to do this, finding how much stuff is going to cost to not just ship. No, it's a completely different thing. Early bird special 2, yes, the $75 tier will get this. Because it's not, I'm not going to put a limit on this one because I don't know how many people will back at the higher tiers. I may put a limit on the $50 level to get people to do it, but it'll be a lot higher than the original one. It's easier to ship this stuff out than to actually have people. The idea is to keep that focus group small enough that it's meaningful participation. If it's too big, then it's just bloated, you know, and we don't want that. Okay, here we are. Come on. Come on, web. Come on, web. Yeah, tabletop games. There's going to be a lot of content I just can't do now. It's going to be a season 2 type thing. So we'll just go and even. we'll go $10 because of the silly exchange. Because of packaging. All right. So should we add a limit for this one, guys? What do you think? I really don't care about problematic. Should we limit it at the $50 tier and then just do the remaining print run from the higher backers? Yeah, we're $6,000 away from more episodes, and so an extra boost would be very useful. My gut says limit to 100. I agree. So we end up maybe doing a print run of 200, 250. Okay, I'm good with that. All right, see, democracy. See, you guys are already getting, you guys are already getting a say in this, because I think it's better because of this. Okay, so yeah, I'm only going to limit the $50 one. Everything else is you just get all the things. You're paying a premium. That's totally fair. I wish you could add. I wish you couldn't take away from things. I wish you could add to subtitles for sure on animes. Somebody asked a question. Which do I prefer, sub or dub on anime? Subtitles all the way. I want the original voice acting. All right, so we're going to save this sucker. Sorry, my phone is... it's saving. It's saving. Here we go. So it is... The Chobits is up now. It is reward number 7. Here we go. Share. Get the link for you guys. It is in the bottom of the Kickstarter, but I'll put it in the... Yeah, I've just gotten so used to reading... There's a link to the Kickstarter. There you go. I've just gotten so used to reading subtitles on games because I don't hear well. Part of the joys of having TMJ is that sometimes it affects my hearing, and so I turn on the subtitles and everybody's voice turns like mush. And I agree. There are some good dubs out there. There are some good voice actors. I think I watched Sailor Moon, obviously, in dubs. Oh, Emily, read Wrestling with Gods. I'm glad you enjoy it. I think it's Wrestling with Gods is the religion and science fiction anthology that I co-edited. I'm very, very proud of it. I think it was awesome. And the awesome thing about that book was we did not go out to seek gender parity or racial inclusion or anything like that. It just kind of happened that we had almost complete parity in the number of stories written by men as written by women. One was co-written, so it was a man and a woman, so we had one more guy on the project than women. But it just kind of happened that way. And I think it's because part of it is they knew I was an editor of it. So people submitted who normally didn't submit. We had a few first-time writers. We had a lot of experienced writers submit, but a lot of people from outside of the can-lit sci-fi intelligentsia got accepted because the subject material can only accept so many stories about angels, right? And so there were astounding stories about very different types of sci-fi. There was a lot of space opera in that. There was a lot more fantasy submitted than sci-fi, and it was kind of like, you can't just pass off religious iconography as fantasy and still have it count as religion and fantasy sci-fi. There has to be an element of speculation or, imagination in it. But the first story, if you want to get a sense of this anthology, is a very anime-inspired story called Mecha Jesus, and it's a robot. It's a mech that has been programmed to think he's Jesus. And it's this great story about what belief, what faith can allow you to do, because this robot like started reprogramming himself to blind people with the light and all these things over and above. He was designed to be a basically a mascot in a there is a Shinto shrine to Jesus somewhere in Japan that the author, a friend of mine by the name of Derwin Mack, actually visited, and they refer to Jesus as it. There's a lot of feelings of, you know, Hitalia, like Axis Powers Hitalia in it. When I read it, I started giggling because of the whole, you know, basta thing. Apparently they do that because they think it's an Italian word, and the Romans. But it was the first story we selected, and it became the first story in the book because we were just like, this. We want the whole book to be like this. And so some of the stories actually were quite dark. You know, because we wanted a mix. But there's another great story that I absolutely loved, where this pagan woman resurrects the sun god because she's sick of the Canadian winters. And so Ra shows up and gets hooked on Coronation Street and just spends the whole time sitting on her couch. And this sounds so absurd, but it makes complete sense within the context of the story. And then there are some darker ones. There's the last story is based on, you know, African death and reincarnation myth. There's one that I've talked about before on the stream called The Moral of the Story that is actually quite dark, but it's about this sort of sea monster mermaid type creature, and it's actually queer fiction. The woman, the fisher woman, you know, fisherman, very significant symbolism in religious texts, but she's a fisherwoman, and she happens to be a lesbian in this, which I thought was cool. I enjoyed that, and you know, it's from all over the place. There's a great sci-fi story featuring a woman who wears a hijab, struggling, and the whole thing is people had to struggle with their faith somehow. There's a cyberpunk story. There's all this really neat stuff. It's a great book. Not terribly well received by the Canadian sci-fi intelligentsia, which we expected because they tend to be quite atheist. And there's an atheist, there's an agnostic story in it that I really like. Thank you, JRH. But it got picked up by the non-secular market, which is far larger than the Canadian science fiction outlet. It ended up on CBC Goodreads. It was nominated for, I forget which award it was, but out in Alberta, which is, you know, our Bible Belt, so they're a little bit more. The interesting thing is that trying to get interfaith groups on board didn't work so well because they didn't understand what it was. It's a who and a how, and probably if we tried to explain it now, people would get it more, because like it's kind of Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't know if you guys saw my Facebook page, but I spent this past weekend, painting up a bunch of church people like the Guardians of the Galaxy aliens, Yondu, Gamora, Drax. Those are the three. Yeah, and then I had to do kind of one generic Ravager where I just did scar and bruising effects, and then this one guy who said, Abin Sur. I'm like, all right. And so he had these giant eyes, so I kind of went halfway between Abin Sur and a pureblood Sith. But yeah, it was fun, and it was extra fun. I mean, it was an interesting phenomenon doing this in a church, because there's set brain for me, which of course curses like a swearer. But, and yes, Zoe Saldana is a typecast alien, Abyssal. But, you know, I have set brain where it's like swear like a sailor, and then it's church, which is, you know, so son of a nice person, she fabulous, and it was good training for me. It was good. It was good. You don't have to swear all the time. Um, Yay! People are pledging. Yay! And yeah, so that was fun. It was a nice break from because when I'm here when I'm working, I feel this requirement to constantly sell, 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 uh, because of reality. It's a limited so it's a limited time offer, the Kickstarter, and I was fully prepared. I was warned by other people who have run Kickstarters that it was 30 very intense days, and I was warned that it was going to be very busy and then fall off. And so I found the second week of a Kickstarter is all about getting the word out. You don't expect the money to come in the same way, but the awareness of the campaign starts to improve. And the last 2 weeks are another, you know, um, uh, big lift. And so we're just hitting the halfway point today, which is why I did the additional announcement, because otherwise it just kind of sits. And I don't know, I like new things coming. I like to create a story. I like this to be sort of a journey, you know, kind of create uh, sort of this sort of interactive element to just the Kickstarter campaign. And so being able to add stuff at the midpoint is fun. I think it is. And there will be a secret goodie for that $135 tier as well. That's why it's there. You know, putting a little of a gotcha thing in. What is it? You don't know. You know, that sort of thing. So, but I'm really excited to get down to the actual workshopping in those groups and see what people come up with, because the little bit I've done with developers has been very eye-opening. So once we get down to the gamer side of it, I'm really excited to see what people's opinions and ideas are going to be, because I'm super looking forward to creating a vehicle to allow, well, I can't get everybody's opinion in, but at least some more gamers' opinions than you normally see in this sort of media. I think that's super important. And it's going to be really fun. It's going to be very lighthearted, because I think it can be. Somebody says, you say that now. I have done so much moderation and facilitation. If I want people to get opinionated, I want people, if you've ever done a brainstorming session, like a proper brainstorming session, there are no wrong answers. And part of the reason that this is closed, that this is a closed loop, that people have to pay to get in, and there will be a few people who don't. Am I going to be releasing a DVD copies of the series after I'm finished with it, or is that a backer reward only? Oh, good question, Abyssal. DVD distribution in Canada is very expensive. You need to have it rated to be distributed, and it's something like, I don't remember what the fee is, but it's really super expensive. I know that some people like DVDs. They like having a physical copy of this, but it depends on what kind of demand. Thank you, Peace Harmony, for pledging. Yay, we've got some pledges in the chat. This is exciting. I don't know why I didn't think about getting people to pledge in chat before. I've been kind of overwhelmed by this. But yeah, as I was saying, with the brainstorming sessions, a properly run brainstorming session means there are no wrong answers. And if people start critiquing, then, you know, then it's not a properly run brainstorming sessions. It's about to puke out all the ideas you possibly can. And people are saying, can I just order a DVD and bypass the whole rating system thing? I will have to look into that. I think directly, I mean, hey, donate and I'll give you a DVD. I'll look into it. Fair point. I would like some of this merchandise to be available a la carte after the fact in limited quantities. I would like people to be able to sort of pick and pay if they don't have $100 to plunk down in 1 month. I see no issues doing that. The issue with physical merchandise for me in the past has been fulfillment. The fact that it's all going out in a wave for Lady Bits is going to be easier. But yeah, I mean, I'll just have to see how to make that fulfillment happen. It's certainly, especially if the designs are awesome. And I mean, another thing we're going to be doing in the focus groups is, hey, here's some design ideas for the t-shirt. Here's a design idea for the patch. I'm toying with either a patch design or a t-shirt design. The Thunder Tank. I want a slogan somewhere that says well-behaved women seldom get good. And no, they won't be region locked DVDs. They're going too many places. They're just going to be probably MOV files with a menu. I'm toying with that. Well-behaved women seldom make history. But for gamers, it's well-behaved women seldom get good. Because I think that, like, female hardcore gamers like me, we do sort of defy feminine gender norms, and one of it is we're not dainty little princess ladies. Lady Bits Peens. For people in chat that don't know what the peen reference is, that's a reference to the live from the Hard Rock Cafe show. Our last episode is actually tomorrow because the restaurant's closing. We're finding a new home. But the Peens, there's a gentleman who runs the shop named Stefano, and he has an Italian accent. So when he says pins, it comes out peens. And so it became this one-on thing that every week Stefano shows us our peens. The thing about pins, I have done t-shirts in the past. I have done stickers, patches, buttons, all that stuff. I have never done the enamel pins. I know they're really popular. I need to know pricing and sourcing and all that stuff in Canada. So that's why I didn't include that. The other thing about, one of those stud-backed pins is everything so far is now flat, that I can put the DVD and sort of tape it to the outside of a poster mailer, and then shove it in a box of the t-shirt, and nothing is going to damage anything else. We start putting pokey bits in that, and we start getting more complicated from a packaging perspective. Doesn't mean it's impossible. It's just I don't want anything to scratch the DVD or damage the print in transit or anything like that. So I am still very open to the idea. I just really wanted to stick to things I know I could fulfill, because one of the most common criticism leveled at this project has nothing to do with me. And that's been a really educational but frustrating element of this process, that the hesitation people have had has had nothing to do with me and everything to do with Feminist Frequency not delivering what they promised. And how do I put this? I think my hope is that we'll do season 1, and it'll be awesome because I know I can do this. And then when we do the fundraising for season 2, it's going to be an easier sell, because then people are, they know exactly what they're going to get. They know it's going to be fun. More people are going to be aware of the brand, and so it's going to be easier to go, yeah, you like this, well, you're giving money for more of it, whereas this is, it is definitely, it's yeah, that's why Tomas, you have to do Lady Bits Leanna, or you get the Urban Dictionary definition of lady bits and porn. Yeah. Cabbage Patch face. Uh, but yeah, we are definitely in the cleansing the palate phase of this. That it's one thing to say it's going to be different. There are a lot of people that aren't familiar with my work thus far. I haven't had the media push that some others have. People who watch Gamer's Guide to Feminism have asked, have been great advocates for the program, saying, no, she's already done this. Like, this is low risk. And I really appreciate that. Chat says, no, I have not seen the new Sonic game trailer. I will watch it. Am I worried about the community that harshly criticize tropes versus women? I'll read the whole comment. I mean, you seem open to feedback, but are you worried about harsh backlash from that community of the internet? I am not worried about them. I am worried about the hardcore supporters of tropes versus women more. Just based on what the reaction has been thus far. There's a difference between being skeptical and being outright nasty. And what I've seen on the skeptical boards, I hate constantly mentioning Kotaku in Action, but they're the ones whose opinion I care about most. There's a lot of, oh, she's not going to be able to deliver. It's just another feminist frequency, everything like that. I know that's not the case, so I'm not worried about that. The other boards who are very much pro tropes versus women have been a lot less fair in the criticisms. Like, I see that, and I see people going, oh, I totally understand why people who aren't familiar with me would be concerned, oh, it's just somebody trying to jump in and be an opportunist on feminist frequency backing off. I get that, fine. But these other groups have tried that stupid trans-exclusive, transphobic slur that they like to level against me, that I'm bad for women, all that stuff. And I just think that's below the belt. I think that's unfair. So they're the ones I am more concerned about now. They are not my audience. So when I say concerned, I am concerned. There was one, I consider this relatively minor because it was easy to smack down, but one person started circulating fake Facebook Messenger screen caps. They claim to be mine. It was easy to tell they were fake because they're an obvious tell about, but it caused some minor drama on some message boards. There's one board that actually brought it to my attention. I think it's our FemRA debates. Is that it? It's actually a really interesting board. It's people from sort of both sides of that ideological extreme that come together and actually have discussions in civil ways. And they were pretty fair to me, which was pretty cool. I mean, that's who I want. Like, other than gamers, that's kind of my audience right there. So that was cool. You notice I'm not mentioning the people who were mean to me because I'm not going to give them that. but there were people who were a lot harsher. I don't expect them to change their minds. Um, and that's fine. I have been at this game in comedy and music programming and everything like that to know that you cannot ever please everyone. And um and yeah, sorry, somebody's posting stuff in the chat and I'm trying to follow it. I should be just paying attention to what I'm saying, not in the chat. Sorry about that, guys. um but yeah, it's um I'm not going to be one of those people who are going to be, oh, I'm being so attacked, feel sorry for me, give me victim bucks. It's not me. If you want to have opinions for a living, this comes with the territory. Enough said. um and now there's this whole debate about Pokemon versus Digimon in the chat, and I'm getting a little scared that this is going to break into a giant flame war. Because there was a conversation on Twitter. I don't know if you guys saw this one, that they asked me my opinion on. What was it? Who would win, Captain Planet and the Planeteers, or Sailor Moon? And it turned into this thing. And I was like, whoa. I just said I think Tuxedo Mask is a spoiler. But it's um yeah, I just, my favorite Pokemon is Snorlax, and there's nothing really like Snorlax in Digimon. I want the big giant guy who just sleeps all the time, eats, wakes up to kick ass, and goes back to sleep. That's my speed. Um, Thanks, Curtis. Curtis said you're going to do great. I just don't want you to be discouraged by other communities and their harsh opinions. Yeah, I understand why there's that concern. I've been around the block a long time. Um, uh, the um, the criticisms we used to get on the old late night show on Ed and Red's Night Party were really harsh. Um, so uh, I'm used to it. Oh, I keep hitting this microphone. God, I'm really used to it. Um, Sorry. Okay, the Pokemon Digimon thing is becoming the cabbage and farts of this chat. See, this is why you gotta watch live. The chat has just exploded into hilarity. Um, between the Sailor Moon Captain Planet and the Pokemon Digimon, it's like just his. Sorry, what comment was? This is a joke. Don't freak out. I'm willing to discuss whether there's more than two genders, but there are only 150 Pokemon, and anything else is heresy. That's really good. So what happened? So now in my brain, I'm going Snorlax, eating cabbage, and wearing a bikini. Hey, could you imagine Cabafart as a Pokemon? Somebody pointed out that's a great name, and he just looks kind of like a cabbage with like Bulbasaur's eyes, and his attacks are like gas attacks. This like thing comes out from the back, like tail, whoosh, and throws a big gas thing, like it's like a hose, and it's like Cabafart farts. It's super effective, you know. It's that could work. That could work. Yeah, remember when there were only 40 Skylanders? That changed quickly. Yeah, we know. You are a Mew-phobic shitlord. Oh, you guys are awesome. So this is the for people who didn't see the last. What was it? God, that Pokemon makes sense. Um, the last chat we did on, I think it was Friday. Oh yeah, there could be a fire you could like tag team with a fire Pokemon, and so you could light the gas attacks, and then it's a fire fart attack. That could be like extra. That'd be Pikachu uses spray can. What would happen to Pikachu's electrical powers and all that gas? Would he like ignite the gas? Um, Man, now I'm gonna need to make a Kabafart Pokemon. I'm pretty sure Snorlax farts, by the way. I'm pretty sure that's why he's so deadly. You know, because you kind of have that semi-conscious fart where you're first waking up and you fart before you realize you're farting. Well, Snorlax probably does that. And Snorlax is a big dude, and he tends to sleep in some funny places, and he hibernates. So it's like that Crypt Keeper breath fart. It's like what the hell died in my stomach 4 months ago fart. Snorlax farts would be freaking deadly. Smelly lightning storm. Oh man, you guys are awesome. Oh yeah, I don't know how I can top this. So unless anybody has any questions, I'm gonna end the stream on a high note. Pokefarts. Kabafart. Kabafart. That's the Pokemon. Yeah, coughing is the gas Pokemon. That's right. So there are already gas Pokemons that exist. Yeah, the Pokedex says that Snorlax eats 100 pounds a day. Yeah, there he is, coughing. He's sort of like this puffer fish. Um, I'm good with every chat ending in farts. Totally good. Here's coughing in the chat for. You want me to watch the Sonic trailer? I can do that as an ender. I'll just have to get my picture in a picture up. Let me find it. Sonic Travel? Are there copies of Ed and Red? You can find the Ed and Red's Night Party DVDs on eBay occasionally. Where's the... It looks like there's a couple trailers here. The Sonic Forces debut trailer? No, that's old. Which one is it? The... Oh, there's Sonic Mania, and Sonic Forces 7 hours ago. All right, where is the... because I don't want to give a gaming website that won't cover Lady Bits any PR. So I want to find just the... Is it the custom? Yeah, 8 hours ago. Okay, found it. All right. So let's go over here. Whoops. And let's go here so I can, and full screen and picture in picture. Oh, why does it do that? Stupid Rasm Frasm. Hang on, I gotta switch. Go back to here. Just gotta switcheroo the monitors. Exit full screen, pull you over, come on. Full screen. There we go. Now this should work. I can't promise what the audio mix. Oh God, Sonichu. The chat brought up Sonichu. Oh, why? Okay, there we go. Okay. Okay, so now I cannot promise what the desktop audio is going to be like. I'll set it to like 50%. But are you guys ready? You guys ready? We're going to watch this together. This is a Sonic Forces custom hero trailer. No more Sonichu. I didn't know what Sonichu was until a few months ago. And then I found out. And some things I can't unsee. I wonder if I can... shrink this down a little bit because this is sure eating into the picture. That's a little better. Why are you guys making all these references in chat that horrify me now? Because you're awesome, that's why. All right, here we are. You ready? All right, we're going to watch this. All right. Just doing the ratings information. Sonic Team! Oh, look, it's burning farts already! As the world falls. A new hero will rise. Kappa fart. All right. It's Crash Bandicoot. They just made Crash Bandicoot. Oh, there's Sonic. Whoa, Sonic 1 and Sonic 2. All right. Okay. It's like Sly Cooper and Crash Bandicoot had a kid, and now we have furry slash fiction. All right. Oh! Okay, why do we need the customizable character if Sonic can just do that? All right, here we go. Rings! Rings! All right, here we go. Okay. Well, this is kind of cute. I kind of like it. You know, for all those closet furries, you can just create your own digital fursuit and have at it. Okay, so we have... So it's sort of an anniversary game. There we go. There we go. No, 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 stop. All right, there we go. We watched it. There we go. That was my legitimate opinion of watching the Sonic trailer for the first time. And hopefully Sega won't DMCA me. Yeah, so that was cute. I don't know. If it doesn't make a gameplay difference on... See, I always wonder how these customizable... That's interesting. Somebody in chat said, as someone that's part of the furry community, I'm not sure whether to celebrate or be horrified. Why is that? Other than furries are kind of mainstreaming now in a way that is that where the attack helicopter thing came from? Was Tails? I mean, I think that anything with that level of customization, I think it's primarily aimed at kids for that kind of game, which I'm good at. Trying to find an all ages game at holiday that doesn't cost parents like hundreds of dollars is always a bit of a struggle. And I'm good to see old school Sonic platforming. Oh, I see what you're saying, Curtis. The fanfic with Sonic OCs was yeah, it was kind of scary. Finally I can be my shy around girls, Sonic OC. Hey, if you put farts in that game, it could be a yiff and whiff. See what I did there? Yeah, it all comes back. Tails is not an attack helicopter, it's a normal helicopter. Okay, fair enough. We need to get the helicopter identity correct. I don't think furries have become mainstream yet, but I think it's getting there. Like, the fact that people know what furries are is more than it was before that CSI episode, and now it's kind of like not the same thing with it's not quite as shameful as Dragon Water says, God, Eggman farts, that's terrifying. Yeah, Eggman farts would be pretty horrifying. One person said the next step in VR would be smell. They actually do include smell in virtual reality PTSD treatments. There's, I think, 8 different scents. They're not pleasant scents, but they do pipe them in because smell is a trigger. Um, yeah, like that. Okay, Curtis kind of nailed it. That basically what I mean by normalizing furry fandom is that 90% of the internet doesn't want to burn furry fandom to the ground anymore. It's sort of like, they're harmless, they're fine. No, JHR. It says in the description that it will still hold for the early bird special and early bird special 2 and the other note, backers at the $50 early bird tier will also get this incentive by default, as will all at higher tilt pledges, so as not to penalize people for backing early. So yeah, if you're $50 or above, the people that took the 34 backers who took the $50 or more, they may want to switch over. But I'll put out an update for that so that they have that ability, and I'm going to go in and edit that hanging bracket that I missed because I hate that stuff. Okay, it just says holiday 2017, not which holiday. There are many holidays spread throughout the year. That's a very good point that I didn't think of. Yeah, it's a myth that every furry has a fursuit. Those shits are expensive. I don't have one. Yeah, it's true. They are pretty pricey. Especially mascot suits in general. If you make your own, they're messy as crap because you have to do all that foam sculpting, which is not the neatest activity in the world because it just makes such a freaking mess. Will it let me? It won't let me change it. Suck. Okay. I've got that hanging bracket is, you do body paint, Emily? That's awesome. I mean, I'm an accidental furry. Somebody pointed out that my Thundercats cosplay is furry territory. And I'm fine with that. I embrace that. That's all good. I used to do mascot work too, so it's kind of the same. There were radical furries? Seriously? Oh, body paint's crazy fun. Emily, do you do hand painted or do you airbrush? See, my first kind of furry experience was Shema in Quest for Glory, because it was kind of like, wow, that little cat lady is kind of sexy the way she dances. Do I play card games? So, well, what do you mean card games? Like Uno or like Cards Against Humanity or like Magic the Gathering or Pokemon? Oh yeah, the other kin. I don't. Are other kin considered furries? Because furries are just kind of, they know where to leave it. It's just fun. Like a lot of furries don't even yiff. And scritching is often like a non-sexual behavior. It's just, hey, I like you. I was into those collectible cards back in the day during the speculation boom in comics. I got into HeroClix for a while, which isn't really a card game, but it is tabletop. They are too expensive to maintain those and do video games. If somebody is playing Cards Against Humanity, I'll play. But those card games, I like them. I like the idea of them. I don't have time for them right now. But a well-designed card game is its own like really special thing. And now we're talking about furries. This chat has become a real. You know what? Dragon Water. I've heard that about Chippendale Rescue Rangers. I've also heard of Dragon Water. So my first furry experience was Chippendale Rescue Rangers. I've also heard Tailspin, the one with Baloo the Bear and Gyro Gearlos, and Darkwing Duck, that I was a big fan of. back. I thought that was an amazing show. But yeah, those are now considered what the big one back in the day was the Disney animated Robin Hood, where they were all animals. That was apparently where it kind of got started. You know, Robin Hood and Little John running through the forest. You know, that one. And it was Sir Hiss. Um, would Gargoyles? Because I loved Gargoyles. Gargoyles was a fantastic show. Um, but yeah, it was sort of like, yeah, Disney ducks, Ducktales, Ducktales. Do furries fart? Oh, cats are so good at farting in your face. Like when you're first waking up, it's like if they're mad at you, they'll just turn around, they'll fart right in your face. Like dogs will just fart all over you. Dogs are farty. You have to be careful what you feed dogs because if you feed them the wrong thing, they'll sit there and they'll just like eat too much and they'll sit there and they go and they just kind of their arms move like a bellows and they'll fart right on you and then you'll watch their stomach deflate. I happen to love bronies. Somebody mentioned bronies in chat. I know guys who are in the military who are bronies. And because they're in this god-awful place, it's just friendship is magic, and it's a fun show. Okay? That new My Little Pony, it's, it, uh, it, it was good. A funny story about Gravity Falls. Somebody mentioned Gravity Falls in the chat. I actually pitched a show to Disney that was about a school-age girl, kind of like young teenager sort of thing, who ran a paranormal blog, and she had all these little there's armed services bronies in the chat. You can tell me, you can tell them. Yeah, when I pitched this show about sort of this paranormal blogger who had these friends who were, sort of imaginary friends, but they were real. One of them kind of looked like the Domovoy from Quest for Glory 4, if you get the idea. But the people, the development people at Disney were like, we like it, but it's too close to a show we've already greenlit. And that show turned out was Gravity Falls. And I was so glad that Gravity Falls is actually a good show because it's fine to get your concept turned down when the show that replaced it is amazing. When the show sucks, you're like, I could have done it better. So I really like Gravity Falls. Oh, cool. You do. I used to do like cat style makeup that way. I always dressed up like a different animal for Halloween because it was fun and it was warm and you could like wear a coat underneath it. Um, um, wow. I didn't expect to talk about furries today. You guys may notice there's very few topics I won't talk about. I haven't seen Rick and Morty. Is it good? People swear by this show, and I've tried to watch one episode on Hulu and just what's my favorite anime or cartoon? Huh. Does stuff like Akira count? Not everybody counts Miyazaki as anime. I think my favorite um kind of TV anime was Death Note that I watched more recently. I mean, I just watched Astro Boy and The Little Prince and things like that. Little Prince only quasi counts. Um, but it's funny, Emily. I did a skunk costume because I liked adapting the cat pattern. I got sick of being cats for Halloween. Um, to Irish anime fans, Akira counts. There we go. Yeah, I really liked Akira. I really like Spirited Away. These are all Disneyfied. Ponyo was really cute. Um, but yeah, the series that I have not seen any of the live action Death Note stuff. I didn't think that it could really live up to the anime. It's very tough to adapt those things, right? Yeah, Robotech back in the day. I like Battle of the Planets. Um, yeah, that kind of stuff. I'm a little old to be sort of prime anime demographic. It was just like Astro Boy was on TV when I was a kid to you know to oh, that's cool. You're building a Death Note PC. And yeah, Thundercats and I think parts of Transformers were outsourced overseas. So they're kind of, you definitely see the Japanese influence in those. Um, but yeah, I mean, the more modern stuff, I'm I became aware of these, the modern animes through a convention called Anime North. It's actually happening soon. I did not see the Bayonetta anime. I tried to watch the Dead Space anime, and it kind of freaked me out, and not in a good way. So I try not to watch those crossover animes. Um, it's um, so yeah, the anime I kind of like. One Piece is super cute. Um, Ghost in the Shell. Oh my goddess! I always confuse Ghost in the Shell and Oh my goddess, and they're two very different things. Oh my goddess is one I just the art style, so pretty. Um, and yeah, that's sort of my. So I guess I will wrap now that we did it. You guys can keep talking. The chat stays open. Um, So, oh wow, that 1980s Transformers film messed up every kid of my generation because the way it ended. I mean, it's a very Japanese ending in that regard. But yeah, Transformers the movie was kind of like, what? And they actually changed the ending of the G.I. Joe movie because kids were so traumatized by Transformers. And we turned out okay. Grim Bastion Fantasy. Okay. It's Oh My Goddess. Um, Okay, for people who missed the announcement, there is now a new tier, a new backer tier on it's not on the body of it yet, it's on the side, but there is a Frank Cho limited edition print now available for backers of the Kickstarter. That is the announcement. Um, thanks guys. Thanks for your time. Thanks for even though I started way late. Um, and we'll be back on Friday. Don't know what time right now. Maybe we'll try to go a bit. Maybe we'll try to go earlier. It right. I have a thing at night on Friday, so I can't go this late on Friday. So I'll have to do it earlier. But thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. Back, share, all that good stuff. Take care. Get some sleep.